I am here to talk to you today about pain management and mobility and how to move pain-free. My name is Jamina Ponte. I am a specialist in postural correction, correcting muscular imbalance, and helping people to get to the point where they can actually exercise without pain. Because, as we just heard the lovely Abby talk to us about exercise, you might get to that moment where you're inspired and you want to go to the gym and you want to go to a class, but you can't because you are in pain. So I want to start off with a little poll. Raise your hands if you have any pain in your back. Does anyone here have back pain? Okay, so there's quite a few of you who have back pain. What about in your knees? Does anyone here have pain in their knees? Okay, so quite a few of you have pain in your knees as well. And then the last question is there anyone here who has any pain in their shoulders? Pain in your shoulders. Okay, so unfortunately, having pain in your joints is actually very normal and common, as you can see, because many of you raised your hands. And so I've worked in the health and fitness industry for over 10 years. I started as a very high-level athlete, and then I became a personal trainer, and then I became a strength and conditioning coach. And my main frustration was that I couldn't help people who had pain. And so I learned what I needed to learn in order to help those of you who can't walk up the stairs without pain, or who cannot do a simple lunge or a simple squat without feeling pain in your knees or your hips, or lifting something up over your head without feeling this pain in your shoulders. And so I've studied over the past decade to find really simple ways that you can learn how to alleviate that and get to the point where you can exercise. So I kind of like fill that little itty bitty gap between physical therapy and exercise. So we're going to move to the next slide, please, sir. So how do we exercise if we're in pain? The important thing that I want you to take away from today is that most of the pain that you feel in your muscles is due to muscular dysfunction, and it can be easily fixed and alleviated. Unfortunately, in the fitness industry, what happens is that you get a lot of people who make you dependent on the therapist. So you have to go back over and over and over again to feel better. And so what I have developed is a way that you can learn techniques and you can do it yourself. There are lots of mobility techniques that can be used to alleviate the pain and tension in your muscles. And by doing these things and creating balance in your muscles and correcting postural deficiencies, you can actually move better and feel better. And so you can get to that point where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that CrossFit thing, I'm gonna go and jump around and do some exercise, which is kind of hard for most people to grasp when you can't even do something very simple. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. So I'm just going to explain to you a really simple concept. It's actually an architectural term. It's called tensegrity. And it also applies to your muscles and bones. So I want you to take a second. I want you to kind of imagine this with me. I want you to imagine a circular object, a spherical object that's made of popsicle sticks and rubber bands. Can you kind of imagine it? So those popsicle sticks represent your bones, and those rubber bands represent your muscles. Okay, so throughout your life, when you have an injury or you get something traumatic happens to you, or you're sitting in the same position all the time for long, long periods of time, certain muscles get really tight and certain muscles get really loose. And if you think about that spherical object as your posture, that posture begins to distort over time. Okay, so if the sphere is perfect, optimal, your optimal movement being in that position with all of your muscles being in the right tension, over time, as you break a bone or you pull a muscle or you sit at a desk all day, what happens is that shape of your posture gets distorted, and so do your movement patterns in because of that, okay? So your bones are floating in muscles, and so in order for you to move pain-free, those muscles must have different levels of tension. Certain ones, they have to be able to turn on and turn off, and your muscles have to be free of knots. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a way right now that I can kind of drive this point home for you, so that you can understand exactly what I mean and how easy it is to just make a little bit of a change in your body, so that you can feel immediate relief from any pain. So raise your hand if you sit at a desk all day. Perfect. Mostly all of you. So when you sit at a desk all day, what ends up happening is that the muscles in the front of your body, they get really tight, okay? So you're sitting in this position, the muscles in your quads get very tight, it pulls your pelvis forward. Most people, in order to correct that, simply just arch their back, okay? When you're in this position, what happens is the muscles in your lower back become overactive, because now they're overworking to hold you upright. And the muscles in your lower abs, they turn off, and the muscles in your glutes and hamstrings, they turn off, okay? And so when you're in this position, a lot of times you are going to experience low back pain, and you're gonna go to the chiropractor, and you're gonna get cortisone shots, but all you really need to do is make a little mindful bodily adjustment, and we're gonna do that right now. Next slide, please. So we're just gonna go through 4 easy steps. You guys can do this sitting down, or you can do this standing up, either way. What I want you to do first is, I want you to place both of your hands right on your hip bones, okay? So you're gonna, if you stand up, this is gonna be a little bit easier. You can move your pelvis backward and forward, okay? So I just want you to do that a couple times. So you can tuck that tailbone under, and you can move that pelvis all the way backward, and then you can dip that pelvis all the way forward. And you'll feel when you dip that pelvis all the way forward that there's a little bit of tension in your back, and when you tuck it all the way under, that tension goes away. So I want you to find that middle position, okay? So find that middle position of your pelvis, so not all the way backward, not all the way forward, right in the middle, and then I want you to hold that position. You're gonna feel your lower abs turn on, and if you're standing, you'll feel your glutes turn on. So these 4 easy steps you can do every single day if you want to try to alleviate that low back pressure that you get from just being in this position all the time. So what I want you to do first is be mindful of the position of your pelvis when you're sitting, standing, or walking, okay? You want to place your pelvis in that neutral position and be mindful to maintain this position, okay? And then you want to engage your lower abdominal muscles, and then as you're walking, think about these muscles back here, okay? So as that leg is extending behind you, turn on those glutes and hamstrings. And that's a really simple way that you can really change how your musculature and your posture affect how you feel in your body. So I have a sign-up sheet. I'm going to be offering a free mobility class here at Oasis next Saturday from 11 to 12:15 in the room 108 in the Children's Center. And we're going to be using a bunch of different tools. I have my massage table back there, and I have a bunch of different things for you to check out. And there's just so many tips and tricks to help you with shoulder pain, knee pain, back pain that I would love to help you with. And thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today. God bless.